will call this meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum. All members are present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we have a couple of small changes in our agenda. I'd like to add item 7A under, item 7A under section 8. It's an additional purchase of services contract related to Project ABLE. So we will go with item 7A under section 8.
8.
Section 8, item 7A.
Oh, you didn't say so.
Okay. Sorry. I apologize if I misspoke. It'll follow the purchase of services agreement with CVSEC. All right, and the other item is that we've had a request to have a closed session. The topic being support service negotiations. And so I would like to add that as item 13, following dates to remember. Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Brings us to item 3. We have a special recognition tonight, and we have some honored guests here to accept it. For as long as I can remember, which is about 3.5 minutes. No, I'm sorry. We've been City Hall has allowed us to use the council chambers to televise our school board meetings, and that time is apparently coming to an end, and we would like to at this point offer a special thank you to the members of the City Council, and we have 2 guests, Mr. John Jasinski and Ms. Carol Dillerud. I hope I said that correct. So on behalf of the board, thank you both for allowing us to use these facilities to conduct school business. Thank you very, very much.
They can speak.
Oh, you can if you want.
Anyone else?
Sure. John. They open the mic up for
Give me a microphone and I can speak. No.
Go for it.
Just on behalf of the city, we're happy to do this. I think it's a great project. We can work together and save taxpayers money. Just like the hockey arena and the soccer association, all the things we've done collaboratively, I think it's a good thing for us to do that. So we're more than happy to you guys use the chambers, or have been happy to use the chambers, and appreciate all your work that you've done with us, and look forward to doing more collaborative projects with the school board. So thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Moving on to item 4. This is the section of community comment. We have a 3-minute limit per speaker, 15-minute limit per topic, and a reminder that the board will not be responding to questions or comments at this time, but will do so after the meeting or at a later date. Is there anyone who has anything to address the board? Judging by all the faces that I recognize, I'm guessing probably not at this time. So invite concerned citizens to come at any time. All right, that brings us to item 5, the consent agenda, approval of minutes, employment, additional assignments, and authorization of payments, transfers, and investment activity. We can do this under one motion unless there is a board member who would like to have a separate action on any individual item.
Mr. Chair, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there should be a contract in here for me for the robotics team. Did that not make it on this one? I should have looked more carefully to see if it was in here or not.
I did not see it.
I did not see it either.
So thank you.
Okay, well,
Good this time.
Maybe that's why we're having a close session.
Surprise!
Second place will get you. Third place will get you a close second. Second place, we might just be able to.
A copy will be delivered by drone, I understand. All right, are there any requests for individual consideration?
Just a quick one. Jason, are you talking about this current fiscal year, or are you talking about next fiscal year? For the
next
robotics?
fiscal year.
Next fiscal year.
And it's just because I turned in a contract this week, and so
Yeah.
I thought it might show up here, but
Okay,
if
we'll
it's
get it.
not, I will leave you.
We will
I'm
get
not
it.
worried about the contract. I just don't want to vote on my own contract. That's what I'm worried about. So,
Okay.
Okay. Well, then I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say.
No.
Oops. I thought we had a second.
Roll call.
Yeah, I know, it's a roll call.
Oh, yes, you're right. I even asked about that earlier, didn't I? Mr. Clerk, would you please read the roll?
Tom,
Aye.
Jason,
aye.
Yvette,
Aye.
myself, I, Jerry, Andrea,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, passes 7-0.
Thank you very much. Brings us to item 6, the Curriculum Committee, which met earlier today. Thank you, Colleen.
Good evening. Yeah, the curriculum committee met today at 3:30. We kind of did a curriculum update, talked about physical education and the grant that they've received from the SHIP grant that they received at the elementary level for polar heart rate monitors, along with the fact that they are in the curriculum cycle, so they have asked for projectors and screens so that we can actually display their fitness on the wall as they're working out, so they can increase their heart rate or decrease their heart rate depending upon their needs. Also looking at some new innovative way of teaching physical education, such things as Dance Revolution, kids all love, and it's a great way to increase your heart rate. And so we'd incorporate all the items that I'm talking about that we'll be purchasing in the future here. And they still have needs. They still have needs for mats and other equipment, and we'll be looking at that through the cycle. We're really looking at what new and innovative ways physical education can be taught. And we also, the elementary language arts, elementary science, and elementary math met last week. We are really looking at developmentally our standards all the way from kindergarten through 12th grade, really having some quality discussions at each level. And each of those areas are in different places because they're in different places in the curriculum cycle. So we updated the curriculum committee on that. Then we talked about the back to school workshop. We're happy to say the back to school workshop is all ready to go. We know what we're going to be doing each day. I'm pretty excited. It's only June, and we know exactly what the presentations and everything, where they will be held and when they will be held. 9th grade academy was the next discussion, and that was the majority of our curriculum committee meeting. And we're really talking about a variety of things, and I'm going to look to Tom a little bit. I told him that I was going to tag team with him on this 9th grade academy. So do you want to talk about what we discussed today?
Certainly. Well, Mr. Bente was present at our meeting and outlined for members of the committee the issue of a significant number of freshmen failing core classes. And he gave us kind of a history of how that group has worked for months now, trying to come up with a way of addressing that, and that was the proposal that came to the board, started in April, and we had a vote here at the last meeting. The discussion was excellent, I thought. We had parents and staff members talking about the issue, recognizing that it is a complex issue, that there's probably not one single, or definitely not one single cause for students having difficulty in 8th or 9th grade, but it seems to be the consensus that we, as a curriculum committee, will want to be involved in ongoing discussions and then ultimately be able to make a recommendation to the board this coming spring as we plan the next year's budget. Sort of the item that wound it up and the meeting up was the idea that we want it to be a sustainable program. It has to be something that students and staff know that we are committed to this and that it's not going to disappear at the first ripple of financial insecurity. Obviously, we have to always make those difficult financial choices, but to start a program addressing such a fundamental need, we want it to be something that we can make a commitment to.
I probably should ask Jason if he wanted to add anything, because he was there also, not to put you on the spot, but
No, I'm
if
good,
we
thank you.
forgot. Okay. So the plan is to, at every curriculum meeting, now to have some discussions that connect with that, whether it be about researching the ninth grade academy or even discussing, the developmental behaviors of a middle school student. We're really going to be really diving into it and having some open discussions so the curriculum committee can bring forward a good proposal. So.
And if I could just add that I tried to make the point that we recognize the seriousness of this issue. I don't think that despite the vote last time not to move forward with the academy at this time, I believe every board member is committed to student success. We're just looking at, I believe the board would like to see all options and have some understanding of how any proposed option will address this very complex issue.
Did you? Yeah, go ahead, Chair.
Erosion.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, Colleen, and I appreciate the proactive stance that everybody's taken in addressing this issue. Are there any plans to aggressively deal with it this coming fall? We've studied it, we know the issue, we know the problem, as complex as it is, Tom. Are there any action steps to address that starting in the fall?
So we started part of that discussion with the curriculum advisory group, and we have not finalized exactly the direction that we're going to go. We want input from others, not just from an administrative point of view. We're going to have staff coming to the curriculum advisory meeting to have discussions of, why do we think kids are failing? I mean, we have the research, we have the data, but, we're going to look at a variety of things. And so that discussion is still ongoing. I know we need to be up and ready to do something in September. Believe me, I understand that, but we just want to have a grasp of the feeling from the staff too of, why is that happening? What are you thinking? I mean, we have had that in isolation, like I've discussed with science, and I've discussed, with a variety of groups, but we're going to bring them together to have that discussion. I think
Is there any possible professional development for staff this summer that might be implemented?
Possibly. Summer will be tough, but possibly. That's a definite part of the back-to-school workshop is going to be that discussion about our benchmarks and our expectations that go to the benchmarks and what does it mean to be at grade level so that we can kind of look at the progression of what our needs are from kindergarten on up. So there's a little bit of that component. We probably won't really be pulling off training until October, to be honest with you, at our early out.
It would be nice, the first day of school, for an action plan to be presented to the board as to how the staff intends on addressing that issue.
It would be, I'm looking at Tom, and you think we can pull that off, Tom? Maybe. We might be able to pull that off, yeah.
No, for the benefit of the students, I think we should.
I think we're bringing it back around. We're continuously having discussions, but I don't have a great answer at the moment. We need the right people in those meetings, and so as I say that, we're going to want to pull in some of those areas that are really not, where the kids are really failing.
Yeah, and it's not just for you to come up with the answer, Colleen.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I would agree.
team effort, so.
I'd be rich if I had the $1 million answer in my pocket, but we need to do something, and we know that. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Because I'm actually going to jump to a different subject, so if it's still about this, go ahead.
Just
Different
since
subject,
we're on the
okay.
topic, as if we haven't talked about this enough, but the other piece I was wondering is if we have a real picture of how Northfield funds their program completely, if there are other resources that are used to fund some of the outreach to the parents, working with students and getting them to school. If there is, that'd be great if there's someone we could mirror that and access that fund as well.
I think Jamie does have that information, but I think we should share that, so I'll ask him about that.
Thank you.
Different subject?
Yes, right. You were talking about FIED,
Mhm.
elementary school FIED, and the grants and whatnot, and new projectors and screens and things like that. Our elementary school students next year, are they going to FIED 4 days a week or 2 days a week?
It would depend upon which building you're in, based upon the schedule, so you have, like, Harry's building, 4 days a week for 30 minutes. And then when you go to Brad's building, you would have it, right, it's the block schedule, so they have a longer time of FIED. So I think the time basically equals each other out, it's pretty close to each other, it's just how it's done.
So
I talked with the fire people this year about all the specialists, and they really overwhelmingly supported sticking with what we have.
And I have
The
put out.
FIED people in all the schools.
I have put out a challenge too, because they're in curriculum cycle, and the challenge is that, can we create a before school, we have kids that are coming, they get done with breakfast, can we create some sort of fitness activities for our kids that wanna go to the gym and do some activities within the physical education arena, and I have them looking at that, so we'll see what we come up with. We have to think outside the box. Just because our school day is limited in time, as you know, there's no reason that, though we have opportunities to provide that. Some of our kids are there, an hour early, hour and a half early. There's no reason they can't come in, have breakfast, and then go to the gym, or go to the gym and then come and have breakfast. So I have challenged the physical education department to look at that.
So why does one school do it one way and the other two the other way? I would go back to, I talked about this a fair amount last year. What's best for the customer? What's best for the student? You take a second grader, you take a fourth grader who's potentially sitting in class for several hours straight, a first grader. And I don't know the answer. I'm not a professional. You're the professional. These two principals are the professionals. I find it interesting. One school does it one way, the other two do it the other way.
Well, and I think it also depends on what also they do during the school day, because some people in responsive classroom are doing, more physical activities to getting to know each other. So there is different ways to do physical education. I don't, you can find research that says doing it every day is the best way to do it, and then you can find research that says, the length is important too. So
6 and 1 half dozen. Yeah.
and I don't know. I mean, yes, I would go back to, most of the medical arenas are going to say that it should be 3 to 4 times a week, and that's why we're going to struggle. That's why we're going to try to add those additional morning activities if possible, or even after school. And there's no reason why, if the kids are coming an hour early, why can't we do a club in the morning? There's a lot of districts that do that. So I'm not trying to take time away from the school day for all the things that we need to do. I'm trying to find additional time. That was kind of the route that I was going, pushing the envelope with that.
Well, that comment is very encouraging to me. Having spent a good chunk of my career teaching junior high age, I would encourage you to look at a way of allowing those students to burn up some of that excess energy in a
Before school
fun,
starts.
enjoyable way, so that it doesn't work itself out in the classroom.
Right. So I'll be curious to see what the FIED department has for me when they come back.
I have just one concern with the before and after schools. That's just a small handful of the kids that are in our schools. So I worry about the kids who aren't in our before and after school care not getting those opportunities for the extra. So I just would like that to just be in the back of your mind going forward too, because it is a small group of kids that are utilizing those programs.
It is something we can continue to look at, I guess.
Yeah.
We started the curriculum cycle for physical education, but haven't we're really having the big discussion of sports orientated versus physical fitness orientated. I like the balanced approach, but the physical education department needs to have a voice in this, so we'll see what they come up with as to what direction we're, how are we gonna be the most innovative, creative physical education department out there?
Well, I appreciate
We're
that's
gonna work
being
on that.
discussed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen.
Thanks.
Thank you, Colleen. Right, no report from technology tonight, and no policy committee report for tonight according to the agenda. That brings us to item 8. Item 8A is the minutes from the June 20th, 2016 work session. Any questions, additions, comments?
I think they're from the finance.
Finance,
Yeah.
Finance committee, Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
I know
Oh,
what you're- I know
I'm
what
sorry,
you're-
there was supposed to be a report. Am I reading that incorrectly?
Should be an attachment.
Okay, so we have it was the item in our book. All right, any questions or further commentary on the June 20th meeting?
No, I think we're about to review all the
Okay.
contracts and they passed, if I'm
Okay.
recollecting.
All right, then we'll move on to item 8B. Items that have been reviewed by the Finance Committee and have been suggested for board approval. Item number B1 is the LNS captioning contract, which we had in our packet. Any questions, concerns regarding that? That is basically a renewal of our past situation as I...
Just transferring it from here to the new district
Sure.
office.
Okay. All right. If there are no other questions, we need to take action on that. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. I'm sorry, I didn't catch who seconded.
Oh, okay.
Jason, all
It was
right.
me, I don't wanna lose credit for it.
Sorry.
All right. All those in favor of the LNS captioning contract, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion or the item carries. Item 8B2, the cooperative sponsorship agreement with Bethlehem Academy. And this is again something that we do each year. Mr. Sesker, are there any specific changes that you want to comment on? I didn't look at the last agreement, so I didn't know if there was...
No, this is just a cooperative sponsorship that was in the State High School League that says we're gonna co-op in these different sports. And then it also has the cost, our new scale is on there
Okay.
for pupil scale.
No, that was an item we discussed earlier.
Yep.
All right. If there are no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to pass the cooperative sponsorship agreement with BA.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item carries. Item 8B3, the AVID agreement. I had a conversation with Ms. Heidi Owens about that earlier today. Are there any questions? This is a continuation. This is, I believe, the third year of our...
Nope, it's probably our fourth or is our fifth thing.
I thought it was...
Fifth year. Yeah, fifth year. It started when I got,
Graduating class this year.
yeah.
All right.
3 kids graduated.
We started in my first year. Yep, so it's
Okay,
five.
okay. Well, then maybe I'm misinterpreting. There's
The
a
addition of the
3-year
elementary
agreement
school.
that's coming up.
What's that?
Next year, we have to submit a new proposal for 3 years.
Yeah, the integration grant we renew all the time, but that's coming
Okay,
from the
all
state.
right,
That's
sorry.
right. Yeah, but this contract
Yes,
is,
all right.
we've had for 5 years.
But good point, it is covered by the integration grant.
That's correct.
All right. Any questions? I entertain a motion to approve the AVID agreement.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion, or item carries. Item 8B4, purchase of services agreement with Nurse Strand Charter School. And this is reflective of those discussions that had been made earlier this year.
Yeah, and this is just for the ASD and ECSE services for nursery, for the nursery and charter school. Yeah, it's so just a service agreement that we have every year with them.
All right.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor of approving the purchase of service agreement with Nurse Trent Charter School, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Can't get my mouth to work. Opposed, same sign. Item carries. Item 8B5, purchase of services agreement with Alexander Learning Academy, the SUN program.
Yep.
Details were in our packet. And I believe we've heard some presentation about this at earlier meetings. Questions? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the purchase of services agreement with Alexander Learning Academy for our SUN program, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Item carries. Item 8B6, purchase of services agreement with Alexander Learning Academy for food service.
So this contract and the next one are related to the new
Right.
formation of the special ed school district. So because this building's in Faribault, they're gonna purchase services from the Faribault School District, and for the building in Northfield, they'll be purchasing similar services from Northfield.
All right, thank you. Unless there are further questions, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the purchase of services agreement with no, I got ahead of myself. Purchase of services agreement with Alexander Learning Academy for food service, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Item carries. Now, item 8B7, purchase of services agreement with CVSEC for custodial services.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor of this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item carries. Here's where we made an addition to our agenda, item 8B7A. It is a renewal of the contract, and I have some specifics here. Renewal of the purchase of service agreement for Project ABLE between Faribault Schools and Northfield Public Schools, a community ed program. Questions?
And that's the handout I
That's, yes, the handout that you should all have. All right, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the purchase of service agreement for Project ABLE, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Item carries. Item 8B8, consultation contract with Minnesota State Academies. Any questions?
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor of approving this consultation contract with MSA, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item carries. Item 8B9, a memorandum of understanding with Fernbrook Family Centers. And this, I believe, is also part of that CVSEC, no?
Nope, this is different.
All right.
This is with Fernbrook, and if you may have recalled, we hired a mental health worker at our middle school through Fernbrook, through a grant. It didn't cost us anything, except for we had to supply a room and the technology there for them. So this would add 3 more mental health workers, one at the high school and then 2 that would shift between the 3 elementary schools. And a grant again covers this through Fernbrook, so it doesn't cost the school district.
Excellent. I'd entertain a motion to pass this item. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the memorandum of understanding with Fernbrook Family Centers. Please, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item carries. Item 8B, 10. McKinley Early Childhood request for an additional preschool class.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the early childhood extra preschool class, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Item carries. Item 8B11. We have a description of some district office conference center equipment to make that space operational.
Right. And Fetty was the lowest bid on that. They bid right around $55,000. I think it's probably going to stick around there, but we did put some cushion in there just in case we did miss anything in there. So we are recommending we go with Fetty for the new district office conference center.
And if
For
my memory is serving, because that is the big meeting area is divisible into two separate, there's going to be equipment for both halves. Is that?
Yeah, and that's why we went up to quotes, because it is a little bit more complicated than just fitting one room. We wanted to make sure we had 2 classrooms and an entire boardroom.
Okay.
Yep.
Other questions or comments? I'd entertain a motion for
So moved.
item 11.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the district office conference center equipment. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item carries. 8B12, long-term facility maintenance 10-year plan. This is something we've been hearing about over the past months.
Mm-hmm. And this is actually, we had the 5-year plan that we put together to present to you at the January board meeting. In order for us to qualify for the LTFM, the new funding for the operating, it's LTFM, for the new capital money, we have to have a 10-year plan. So we just stretch some of those projects out to 10 years. But it's a dynamic document, and so of course those will change on a yearly basis.
Yeah, I think Colleen mentioned at the finance committee that we can make adjustments over time to the plan, but we need to put something in place to present to the state at this.
Okay.
Move approval.
Second.
You have a motion and a second for the LTFM 10-year plan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item carries. Item 8B13, audit engagement letter from Clifton Larson Allen. And that's something we do every year, I believe. Any questions for Todd or Colleen?
How many years have we had Clifton Larson?
Goodness.
Since you've been here?
Oh, yeah. And much beyond that, too. I'm guessing they've been here over 20 years, if not even close to 30.
Not quite 30. Okay, no, I'm just curious.
Okay.
We have no reason to change that.
I would entertain a motion, please, for item 13.
So moved.
Second?
All right. We have a motion and a second for approval of the audit engagement letter from Clifton Larson Allen. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Item carries. And coming to the end of the fiscal year, we are required to approve the fiscal year 2015 and 2016 final budget and the fiscal year 2016 and 2017 adopted budget. And Colleen.
Correct. So what you have attached on board book are fund totals for each of those 2 years, and then a lot of detailed information in a budget packet. And what's being handed out now is the PowerPoint presentation. And that Kathy will get that posted on board book tomorrow or when she gets back. But we'll go ahead and take a look at that PowerPoint and run through that tonight at the board meeting. And if you have any questions at any time, just stop me and we'll address the questions. So tonight we're going to talk about the funds that we account for in our district, and we're also going to look at a little bit at the enrollment history and the projections for next year. We're also going to look then at the final budget for this year, 15-16, and we'll look at the budget assumptions for 16-17, and then we'll talk about the adopted budget for 16-17. On the next slide, we do have 6 different funds that we deal with right now in 15-16 in our district. The general fund, the food service fund, community service fund, building construction fund, which hopefully will end at the end of this year, the debt service fund, and then the trust fund, which also is slated to end at the end of this year. So we'll talk just a little bit about what each of those funds represents. On the next slide, we talk about the general fund. This is by far the largest fund in terms of dollars and activity that goes on in the school district. It accounts for all our K through 12 educational activities. It includes co-curricular and extracurricular activities, all the district instructional and student support programs, the superintendent and the district administration, operations maintenance, transportation, capital expenditures. We have 12 restricted accounts, 1 committed account, 1 non-spendable account, and 1 unassigned account. So the state requires us to account for all these funds very specifically, and because of that, we have all these different accounts in the general fund. On the next slide, we talk about the food service fund. These are all the financial activities of the district's food service program. So this includes the preparation and service of milk, breakfast, lunch, and after-school meals and snacks. And I believe we participate, last year anyway, we participated in every single program that the state offered. This year we did not do the after-school meals at the middle school. Instead we went back to a snack. But we do take advantage of everything that we can possibly do for feeding our kids in this district. It also funds equipment needs of the kitchens, so that takes care of most of that. The next slide, we talk about the community service fund. This fund offers or takes care of all the enrichment programs for any age level that are not part of the K through 12 educational program. There are 5 components. Each of these components also has its own fund balance. They are early childhood family education, school readiness, adult basic education, community service, which includes preschool screening, non-public and non-public aids, and then community education, which has a lot of programs within that: adults with disabilities, school-age care, youth development, youth services, enrichment, and driver's education. So lots of activity going on in community education. On the next slide is the building construction fund. So this really does become a temporary fund. It's used to record all operations of a construction program that's funded by the sale of bonds or leases. So in this year we have the fund active because of the 2 additions, the one at the high school for the Faribault Education Center and the one at the middle school for the district office. Hopefully those bills will all be paid by the end of the year. The projects are done, so we're just waiting on some cleanup things. Chances are they will carry over a little bit into next year. The expenditures in that fund include the general construction management costs, any advertisement for contracts, and then of course payments on the construction contracts themselves. On the next slide, we talk about the debt service fund. This is the fund where we record all our revenues and expenditures for our outstanding bonded indebtedness. The levies are calculated at 105% of whatever our debt payments are, and that's required by the state. We have to levy 5% more than what we need to make our payments, and that's just in case there were an economic downturn such that people didn't pay their taxes on time, because a lot of the tax money is used to fund these payments. So if there were large delinquencies, we might not have enough money in this fund to make those payments. So the 5% gives us that cushion to go ahead and make our payments, even though maybe the taxpayers haven't necessarily paid all their taxes. I don't think I've ever seen in my 30 years of a career where that has been needed to do that, but that cushion is there. And then the Department of Education calculates an excess fund balance every year, and if there is an excess in this fund, it is used to reduce the levy. In other words, reduce the burden on the taxpayers. So as we levy that extra 5%, we do build up excess funds because we don't always need it. So that does become a reduction then in that levy that we see usually every year. The last slide talking about the funds is the trust fund. These are scholarships that are donated to the school district. It can be an expendable or a non-expendable. We are really phasing out of this. We just had a handful of scholarships that came in over the last 3 to 4 to 5 years, and most of those scholarships do run through the what's called FAPSETA. I'm not sure, Faribault area, not sure what that exactly stands for, but it's a scholarship organization, and most of that money does flow through there. Any questions on any of those funds? All right, on the next slide, we have the enrollment history and projections, and that goes back to 05-06. So when you look at this graph, you can see that in Faribault, really we've been fairly stable, which is not maybe normal for districts, rural districts like us. A lot of districts have seen declines over the last 10 to 15 years, but we've managed to really stay pretty darn stable, all things considered. Even with the addition of a new charter school that opened up a few years ago, we did lose some kids to that, but they come back generally in the high school level. So in 16-17, we're projecting 3,845 kids. It's down a little bit from what we talked about in the spring due to the creation of the new co-op, because those kids will be going to the new co-op. So we had to reduce our numbers a little bit for that. Any questions on the enrollment history? All right, then we've got about 6 slides that really just talk about the big picture on the final 15-16 budget. So first, in the general fund, that fund started out with a July 1 balance of about $11,500,000. This year, we're projecting revenues at $50,631,000. Our expenditures are at $52,455,000. And if you recall, we did approve a lot of one-time costs for 15-16. So that's why our expenditures are higher than our revenues in this year. We wanted to spend down our fund balance with a lot of one-time projects. So we're projecting that our ending fund balance will be $9,665,000 at the end of this year. It's all based on budgets, so things could change a little bit, but generally we're pretty close to that. On the next slide, the final budget for the food service fund. The food service fund balance started out at $438,000. We are projecting revenues of $2,191,000. Expenditures just a little bit under $2,300,000. So our fund balance will drop down to $337,000 in that fund. And we are transferring some of the general fund costs to food service, the cost of lunchroom supervision and custodial, and so that's the biggest reason why there is that deficit coming from 438 down to 337. So we'll want to watch that going forward, because eventually we might have to reduce that amount that we transfer to food service. On the next slide, we talk about the community service fund. They started out with a $609,000 fund balance. Their revenues this year, $1,934,000. Expenditures, $2,031,000. So their fund balance at June 30th, we're projecting to be $512,000. They also spent down some of their money to equip and buy equipment and tables and desks and chairs for the new addition at the high school. So that's most of the reason why that fund balance has dropped. The building construction fund. Last year we had $3,424,000 at the end of June 30th on July 1. Very little revenues, just a little bit of interest income coming in on that money that was invested. And then we're projecting that we will have all the bills paid by June 30th. That probably won't be the case. We probably will have a little bit of carryover into 16-17. In the debt service fund, the fund balance on July 1 was $1,067,000. We have revenues of $2,614,000 and expenditures of $2,902,000. So that fund balance will be about $780,000. That's pretty stable every year, and that's really, we're seeing a decrease in that because now we're having some catch up here of the excess money from the bond issues that are now that went off, the bond payments that went off a couple years ago. So we'll see that probably hang around that $800,000 number. And then the trust fund had a $2,500 fund balance at the end of last year. We have not taken in any new money, and we have figured out where that money needs to go, so we'll be taking care of that here before the end of June. So that fund will go away for next year. Any questions on any of those funds?
Can we have one,
Yeah.
2 questions for you?
Yep.
The general fund, help me out, did we transfer $1.6 million out of that for the additional buildings, for the 2 new buildings?
There was money that was spent out of the general fund, so the expenses actually come out of the general fund to pay for that, yes.
That was this year, right?
This year,
Okay.
correct.
And then will you do any, forgive me here, I don't remember, but do you write any article in the newspaper, that kind of community section, whatever, recapping this at all? And
Yep.
My concern is, not a concern, it is what it is, but I can think of somebody that might send us an email and say, you guys deficit spent by this much type of thing, and it's pretty easy for you to recap and re-highlight the investments we made by the one-time expenditures.
Yes.
Whether it be the band, whether it be the automotive program at the high school, whether it be the $1.6 million that was spent out towards the buildings or whatever. And I think that helps put it in perspective when it
Yes.
comes from somebody like you type of thing. So
Yep.
I don't know if you usually do that, but I don't think it's a bad idea to maybe do something.
I think it's a good idea too. I think also you can include in that when by building, we reduce taxes for taxpayers and save a significant amount of taxes for the taxpayers too.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's all good to reiterate. Good
I
stuff.
usually write an article in November or December after the audit's done to kind of talk about.
Something tells me, unless you volunteer for that, you're not gonna be here. So, you know, just with this going
Yeah.
live tonight, you know what I mean, type of thing,
Yeah.
I have no idea when the paper will publish anything about this. Maybe they never will, but somebody might
Yep.
watch the tape or be watching that.
I debated about putting, last year, Andy did a nice job of putting a slide in here that laid out all those one-time costs. So I debated about recapping that in here. I probably should have since you raised the question, but what I can do is go back and adjust this for sure. I'll do that and add that information because we post this on our website. So if people are looking at this, they will see it. But I don't think it's bad to do an article.
But I think
also.
it's important that people know that it's not deficit spending that's gonna
Right.
continue. These were
Right.
one-off big investments, whether it be the $500,000 in the OPEB or even if that was even before I came
Yep.
straight, but the band, the automotive, all those types of things.
Correct. Yep. I can do that. Any other questions? Okay, just a few graphs then, just to show you pictorially kind of where we're at. The first graph is the 15-16 expenditures by fund. So you can see that the green pie section is represents 83%. That is the general fund. So obviously what we do on a day-to-day basis is the largest amount of where our dollars are spent. Food service, community service, building construction, debt redemption, or debt service fund, those are all between 3% and 5%. On the next slide, then we look at the general fund in a little more detail. First, we look at the revenues by source. So we can see that the blue piece of pie represents state sources, so we're highly dependent on what the legislature does as far as funding for us. 79% of our revenues come from the state. It's very much student-driven, very much legislative-driven. Our local property taxes represent 11%. That is an increase over a few years ago with the advent of the levy that was passed. And then 5% federal and 5% other local types of revenue, fees, those kinds of things. And then the last slide where we look at 15-16 is looking at the general fund and how do we spend our money. So the first thing you see is that the green piece of pie represents salaries and benefits. So we're a people-intensive business. 76% of our money in the general fund is spent on salaries and benefits. That's not out of line. 80% is the general rule of thumb for almost all districts in the state of Minnesota. Purchase services represents 12%. That's our transportation costs, our food service costs, those kinds of things. Supplies and materials, 4%. Capital, 8%. That's probably a little higher than prior years because of the building projects that we've done this year. And then debt service is a very small number. Okay, any questions on that before we move into 16-17? Okay, let's look at 16-17. The first thing we'll do is look at some general fund revenue budget assumptions, and I just pulled out some big ones. There's a list of many more in the other detailed document. The first thing is the general education formula allowance, which is the state funding. That did increase by 2%, so it goes from $5,948 per pupil unit to $6,067 per pupil unit. Our basic skills revenue, which includes compensatory and then our English language learners, that revenue increased by just a little under $300,000. Our state special education aid is projected to decrease by about $1 million, and this is due to the programs that are moving to the new co-op, SEVSEC. Our third-party billing revenue is also projected to decrease by about $200,000, again due to those programs moving to SEVSEC. SEVSEC will now be the one applying for that third-party revenue. And then new this year is the long-term facilities maintenance revenue. It's in the first year of a 3-year phase-in. So this first year, it's an additional $800,000 that will help offset some long-term facilities costs. Okay, on to the next slide, just a few expenditure budget assumptions. Transportation costs are projected to increase by about $200,000. That's partially due, excuse me, to contract settlement, but also due to increased costs for special ed. We will be incurring more costs by transporting our kids to Northfield, but just increased costs for special ed overall, including homeless transportation. That has really grown in the last couple of years. as students are identified as homeless, we are required to transport them from wherever they end up living to the school that they attended here. So that does add to our cost too. Our health insurance rates did increase by 5.7%. And then for salaries and fringe benefits, most of our contracts are settled. So we do know what most of those increases are. There are just 4 contracts that are open, I believe. So we've factored in an appropriate increase for those 4 contracts. We have budgeted $20,000 to transfer to the food service fund to compensate for delinquent meal accounts. The undesignated general fund also includes approximately $400,000 in lease payments. That's new this year. Those are the lease payments for the new buildings through the special ed co-op. That corresponding lease levy revenue is a year behind. So this year we've got the $400,000 in expense. Next year we'll see that revenue coming in along with the expense. So it looks like it's a deficit, but it really isn't. It's just a timing issue of when that revenue comes in. And then we've got expenditures that have been reduced by approximately $2.2 million due to all the programs that will move to the co-op. So everything that we were doing at the correct location with the joint powers agreement with Northfield, that revenue and that expense has all been neutralized. So whatever we had in expenses, we also took out in revenue. That's why the special ed revenue went down by $1 million, and we dropped 40 kids, so we lose that general education aid too. So right now it's considered revenue neutral. There might be a tuition bill that once the tuition bills go through, there might be additional costs there, but until we get through the entire year, we're not going to know how that will play out. So that's just something that we'll have to see where that ends up.
So I'm not sure if this is the best place to ask this, but so if we look at the end when we have that deficit of $289,000, that would be also include this $400,000. So you're saying next year it's actually only 100 and something out of the budget. Or I can wait to ask it toward at the end after we go over it. But
It kind of depends on if you talk about cash flow or if you talk about fund balance, because really
right.
we'll get half of that in May, but we can't count that till the following year for the fund
So
balance.
it makes, to me, it makes the
It's just
picture
a
look
wash.
better than overall, even
Right.
knowing that it's behind. Okay.
Right.
Here, right.
Yep. When we
Okay.
talked about where the undesignated fund balance is going to go, it's really going to drop down by about 100 or almost 600,000, 575. But 400 of it is due to the leases that we're paying for that we're not getting revenue until next year. And the remaining amount is due to the Area Learning Center where they're not having enough revenue to cover their expenses. So we're having to cover that. Is that what you were getting at, Yvette? Okay.
I'm gonna
All right. And then the last assumption is approximately $775,000 in expenses are now included as part of the new LTFM revenue. And part of that is the old health and safety program, so that's not really an increase. About $350,000 is not really an increase, it's just a shift of where that's being funded. And then the new long-term facilities maintenance costs. So we're really seeing a nice infusion of money here to help deal with keeping our facilities up to date and in good repair. Any questions on those assumptions? On the next slide, we talk about some food service budget assumptions. Then the federal and state meal reimbursements are projected to remain the same. We did increase our meal charges for lunch to students by 10 cents. Sodexo will continue to be our food service provider. We did put in the budget about $45,000 for equipment upgrades. We did a lot of upgrades this year, but I think we still have a few things that we need to do. And then just a bullet point there noting that $120,000 of custodial costs, utility costs, and lunchroom supervision will be charged to the food service fund from the general fund. But again, that's probably not sustainable at that level as we continue to spend down that food service fund balance. On the next slide, community service budget assumptions. Adult basic education revenue is increased as a result of increased contact hour revenue. The program fees are based on the projected program costs. The district will continue to levy for youth services, after school enrichment, home visiting, disabled adults, and disabled school age care. Those are all levy components. Funding from the Early Learning Pathway 1 and 2 funds will continue to be available as grants to our parents. And then the McKinley Preschool School Readiness will continue to enhance programming as funds are available. Anne Marie just finished today an application for the early kindergarten program. So hopefully we'll see some money flowing in from that. On the next slide, the building construction fund budget assumptions. The expenditures are related to the construction of the district office and conference center at the middle school and the Faribault Education Center at the high school. All construction and related expenditures are scheduled to be concluded during this fiscal year, but again, probably some of that will carry over into 16-17. On the debt service fund, the levies again are based on 105% of the debt payments. We talked a little bit about that. And all the expenditures in that fund are based on the bond payment schedule. So there isn't any variation there in that unless we do a refinancing, then they would go down. Okay, any questions on any of those assumptions? All right, then we've got the next slides that do just show, again, the big picture of where the budget is at for each of those funds. So for 16-17, the general fund, we're projecting a fund balance on July 1 of $9,665,000, revenues of $48,951,000, and expenditures of $49,240,000. So again, here it looks like a deficit, but you have to remember that 400,000 of that are those lease payments that we will get the revenue for next year. So our fund balance on June 30th is projected to end at $9,376,000. Chad?
Sorry, one step back where you said our expenditures are based on bond payment schedule.
Yes.
What would it take for our district to, or what would have to happen for our district to look at refinancing what's already out there? And the reason I ask is everybody's aware of the pre-exit deal. Absolute stock markets have gotten killed. The flight to quality, which is the U.S. in terms of treasuries, has only caused yields to go way, way down. The 10-year note is virtually at all-time lows type of thing. So is that something we just rely on Ehlers to say, hey, when's the time to look at refinancing, or what would make sense type of thing?
Yep. There's two things that are at play there. First of all, there's law that says when you can and can't refinance. You have to meet a certain threshold of savings before you can do it because there are costs involved to do it, all the reissuance costs again. And then Ehlers, our financial consultants, generally 2 to 3 times a year, they run the numbers and they send both Todd and I a report and say, here, this looks like it might generate enough savings. Of course, they can't guarantee it because you're 2 months out really to a sale to do it. The other thing is that some of the bonds that we originally issued have call dates in them. In other words, we can't refinance until a certain date. So some of those, our hands are tied a little bit too. But they're watching it. We were really close on one of the issues, being able to do it this year.
We'll be ready for refinancing for next year.
Yeah, I think, in the next year we should, I think they indicated that within the next year we should be able to refinance one of the issues. Just had to wait a little bit longer.
Thank you.
So we do keep tabs on that.
I just didn't know with the last couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can't necessarily choose to do it ourselves because of the law and because of the call dates on the bonds.
Thank you.
Okay, on the next slide, the food service fund, we're projecting to start out at $337,000. Our revenues are $2,158,000. Expenditures $2,269,000. So that fund balance will drop down to about $226,000 at the end of next year. The community service fund will start out at $512,000. Revenues of $2,060,000. Expenditures very close, $2,064,000. So their fund balance will be virtually the same, $508,000. The next slide is the debt service fund. We're projecting that fund balance to start out at $779,000, revenues of $2,777,000, and expenditures of $2,889,000. So that fund balance will drop a little bit, probably down to about $667,000. Okay, then we also have the same 3 slides that we looked at for this 15-16 budget. So in 16-17, expenditures by fund, you can see the general fund, again, still by far the largest share of what we do, 87%. On the next slide, we look then at the general fund revenues by source. State sources, again, representing the lion's share of our money, our revenue that comes in. 80% of that is due to the state. A similar 11% to local property taxes, and then 5% to federal, 4% to other. On the next slide, we take another look at our expenditures by object code, what we call object code, or how we spend our money. And again, salaries and benefits represent about 79% of what we do. 13% purchase services, and then 4% for supplies and materials and capital expenditures. That brings us to the last slide, which is a good picture of the financial health of our district. We always look at the unassigned general fund balance. That really is the picture of health for the district, because that's where most of our expenses flow in and out of. And here is a 5-year history of where that fund balance has been. And the gold lines represent our board-approved fund balance policy minimum, which the policy says we need to maintain a 9.5% ratio of fund balance to expenditures. The auditors recommend anywhere from 12 to 15% as that same measurement. So the red bar represents what an auditor would recommend on the high end at 15%. And so the purple then represents where we have landed in each of those last 5 years. So in 2013, we were at 17.2%, 14, 19.5, 15, 15.6, 16, we're projecting 13.2, and then in 17, just a minor drop down to 12.8. So well within our guidelines. I think we're doing what we should be doing with our money and investing it in our program. So, any questions on any of that?
Thank you.
Okay.
Colleen, before you sit down, recognizing that you still are the responsible person until August 31st,
Yeah.
I would personally like to thank you, and I believe the board would agree with me. Thank you for your years of service, your years of expertise of making an extremely complex situation understandable to amateurs such as us, and we appreciate all that you have done and all that you do. I would invite the public to collect the data to go back more than 5 years, because it didn't look that healthy a number of years ago. But we've been in good shape, and it's in part due to your hard work and expertise and guidance. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure. But a lot of people have also contributed to that
absolutely.
too. So,
Mr. Chair, can I just make one comment? Colleen has a knack of saying no with a smile on her face.
I've heard that in all the districts I've been in.
I would just add, as Tom mentioned, I mean, in 4 years, I'm beginning to grasp it all, but it's all thanks to you and your explanation every year of the budget and going through it. It's really been beneficial and helpful, so thank you.
Thank you.
I'm in denial, so I'm not gonna thank you. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I expected Colleen to be here for a long time to come. Thank you.
You did not hear it. It was not in the finance meeting or in the
6
finance
years?
minutes, but I think she's volunteering for 3 years of
2-3 year
finance committee service. She got roped into that.
Yeah,
Right, Richard?
that's correct. Maybe even 6 years.
I'd entertain a motion to that effect. All right.
That's right, we have to
I
approve the
believe
retirement.
that brings us to action on the fiscal year 2015-16 final budget and fiscal year 2016-17 adopted budget. If there are no other questions, I'd entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item carries. That brings us to item 8C1, the June enrollment report, and I believe you touched upon that earlier. So I think we've been very fortunate in being so close in our beginning of the year estimates to what we ended up with. Again, thank you and your staff for all that accuracy as well. No financial report required. That brings us to item 8C3, acceptance of gifts and donations. And at this meeting, we have 2 gifts and donations to acknowledge. The first being from Joanne Fabrics, in the amount of $419.10, and directed towards our community ed. And from Ms. Barbara Herzog, the amount of $100 directed towards the Faribault Public Schools Music Department. So on behalf of the board, I would like to thank those organizations and individuals that contribute to the excellence experience of our students. So thank you, Joanne Fabrics and Ms. Herzog. We need an action on that. Someone?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to accept these gifts and donations. All those in favor say aye.
Roll call, roll call.
Oh, you're right, then, yes. I may catch on to this if I'm here long enough. We need a roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Tom,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
Yvette,
Aye.
myself, I, Jerry,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, it passes 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, and thanks again to those people donating. Under item 9, committee reports, no insurance report, no wellness committee report. Ms. Anne Marie does have a report on community ed, I believe.
I do. I have 3 things that I'd like to share with the board tonight. One is our STEAM program is off and running. We have about 420 students enrolled, up from about 370 from last year, so up quite a bit this year. Continuing to grow, continuing to have fun. It really takes a big team to pull this off, but we have the right people in place and have staff that keep coming back. Even the same college students kind of keep coming back. So it's been a really seamless year with very few issues. So we're really pleased. So just wanted to update you on that. Another piece of information, last week I had a visit from the Refugee Resettlement Office through the Department of Human Services. We had a site visit. She toured our STEAM program, so that was exciting. But what the funds are from that program help us with our after-school programming at the middle and high school during the regular year for our refugees. So we coordinate with Sam Oak, with HAP, are able to deliver some really robust programming at the high school. We get only about $25,000 a year, but have said for last year we were going to enroll 25 students. We actually enrolled 59 between the 2 sites. So we doubled our participation this year on very, limited funding because we're using the model of braiding funding. So we're working with Sam Oak, we're working with Community Ed, partnership back and forth, and really having a lot of success with that program. So there's lots of things that go along with that grant requirement in terms of sustaining participation in other school activities. So we have some of the students that are involved in sports or other activities that really enhance their school experience and success. Students completing leadership training programs. So we've had several complete a training program. Several parents of these students actually have participated in our Family and Schools Together program. So it's the programming for all ages that parents come and we talk about how to make sure we're getting students to succeed, getting their children to succeed in school, and hopefully going on to post-secondary. So lots of good outcomes from that grant program, and actually received an additional $12,000 because of the outcomes, and we're able to offset some costs and enhance programming at STEAM this year, and then also offer in participation with the EL department some programming at the high school for newcomers. So just really terrific things happening. And just a third piece of good news, big partnership happened a couple of months ago between the Red Wing Juvenile Detention Center, Northfield Healthy Community Initiative, and the public schools, Faribault Public Schools, ALC and Adult Education, and Workforce Development to get about $600,000 in funding for the next 3 years to enhance programming for opportunity youth. So that is the new phrase for at-risk students. So
So it's youth between the ages of 14 and 24. We're concentrating more on the ages between 17 and 24. Adult education, just a little fact, we serve, just in adult ed, students between the ages of 18 and 24, about 35 students a year. So we do see those youth coming to our programs as well in community ed, but it is really for the opportunity youth, those who are perhaps involved with the juvenile justice system, perhaps high mobility or homeless students, really disconnected youth that we want to make sure have access to programming, and we'll be delivering programming both at adult education and the ALC this year. Identifying 3 sectors for employment: healthcare, manufacturing, and construction. So really wanting to get those youth in jobs and in post-secondary. So have significant funding. It was a cash match grant. So in essence, it's about $1.2 million over the next 3 years. Possibility of upping for another 2 years after the 3 years of the grant. So it's a big collaboration. We're visiting many different partners in Faribault and the other communities, mental health services at the county services, social services, all sorts of different partners. Big collaboration, but really with the bottom line of getting students to transition successfully into careers in post-secondary that may have not had the opportunity. The students also perhaps will get some tuition covered if they do go on to post-secondary, and some other pieces that are associated with those costs. So it's a really good grant program that we got a hold of. So one of probably 60 applicants, we're one of 5 that actually got funded. So anyway, that's my good news. That's it.
Congrats. She's got
Okay.
one more too.
Okay, I don't
Just one of the big pieces that came out of legislative
Yeah.
session was the volunteer pre-K
Yes.
piece, and you want to just talk about that real quick?
Yes. So for early learning, there's been so much attention focused on ages 3, 4, and 5. And what the legislature did this year was to add ADM, so off the general ed formula, we're able to perhaps get funding for up to 0.6 of that ADM for our students that attend a certain number of hours at our preschool. So we have 3 classes that qualify for this funding. We applied today. It will possibly reduce our issue of Pathway 1 funding, which sometimes we don't know until the end of the year what we're getting. So it will really help us project out our revenue more carefully and cautiously than getting revenue at the end of the year and having to scramble to figure out what to do with that the following year. So again, we're providing services to the students that are on waiting lists. We've covered all of them now and are able to offer that. That's even without the voluntary pre-K. So if we get that, we're looking at major possibilities of expansion for preschool services.
Is there anything for building?
So wish us good luck. Say that again.
Is there anything for building?
Yes, building, that would be great if we could be included in the discussion around expansion of McKinley. Really looking forward to possibly co-locating Head Start services as well. Having that partnership is a really solid in terms of then we have service for families really 0 to 5 seamlessly. Head Start really focuses on the earlier years, 3 and 4, where we focus really on 4 and 5. So that partnership would be excellent. So yes,
And
future desires and hopes.
Is McKinley full right now?
It is absolutely packed.
So if these things were to transpire in a very positive way, like
Yes.
you're saying, where do we put them? Like,
So
Have midnight preschool.
well, yeah, and, so I do come up with not quite that idea, but, can we do a later, is that good for the child? Probably not. What can we do? Can we expand services to other locations? We can and we have to Hewlett and Evergreen and Ruth's house, but really in reality, when we're missing probably half to a third of the students that could really qualify for preschool and get served, because when you add up the privates, the Head Start and public schools in terms of who we're actually serving for preschool, we're missing probably about a third of our eligible population. And that's not because we're not doing the outreach, it's because the barrier of cost. And we're removing that barrier every chance we get, but without more space, we really can't figure out how to continue expanding our services. But we're always up for suggestions, so if you please.
But when you
Let
say
me
a
know.
third, are you talking 200 students?
You know, the
100 students?
census was about 200 and so for 4-year-olds this past year. And I know census information is really iffy because I think it's oftentimes underreported. So
That's Faribault as a whole.
for the whole community of Faribault, yep. 250-ish, I want to say, 3-4-year-olds each, so 400.
We can probably get,
Yeah.
once
And,
you,
yeah.
we'll get the numbers for you. We
And
got
I am, yep.
a little bit more accurate count, so
Yep.
don't, let's just,
Well,
we'll
I'm
get the
gonna,
numbers.
yep, and I'm
Yep,
researching
we'll pull
that.
them up,
Yep.
right, so.
But it's amazing, yeah. So thank you. Any more questions?
Thank you for the good news.
Thank you.
Thank you and your staff for the hard work. And it's really good to hear so many positive things happening.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, the facility committee, Mr. Sesker.
Yep, filling in for Kevin, he's trying to go on vacation, so hopefully he's out. Not a lot to talk about, we're really gearing up for the ad hoc facility group. We have set a date for July 18th at 6 p.m. That's a Monday, the Monday before the regular board meeting in July. So I know that Richard and Chad will be on that committee. We have about 25 folks that have talked about being on that committee. I'm trying to get them committed now for over the next couple of days, so we're working on that group. But looks like a really good group of individuals that we have on there. So, and please, if you have suggestions of folks, don't hesitate to send them to either me or Chad or Richard or whomever.
All right, and item 9E, special services, no report this evening. That brings us to item 10. A, consider the approval of the 2016 and 17 student handbooks for Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt Elementary Schools and the McKinley Early Childhood Center. I have a question for Mr. Sesker before we go further. One of the goals in recent years was to get some uniformity between the elementary schools. In your opinion, I've skimmed through them. Honestly, I haven't read every word of every report, but
Right.
do you feel that we are reaching that goal of having uniform policies and processes across the district?
Yeah, we have. The elementary principals have done a really good job of collaborating and making sure they have their major policies together. They'll have some nuances,
Oh,
but basically
absolutely,
it's pretty consistent.
Okay. Board members, any further questions for anyone? We have 2 elementary principals in attendance. Thank you both for being here.
I might ask, do you guys have did you guys get the attendance policies in there? And I knew they did, that was kind of a rhetorical question. But do you, because I know it's a little bit of a change because we're trying to coordinate more with this social services. Would you be willing to talk a little bit about that, Brad and Terry?
We met basically for this monthly for the entire year. Times we get them in the middle school, talk with the social workers from each of the buildings that would include the crack building, junior middle school, high school, and try to come up with a consistent definition for attendance as well as classifications for that. We're going to follow that up then with what we've done in August, where all the building principal secretaries are going to meet so we can really clarify and define and be consistent when we're recording it. It comes down to when a parent calls in and starts talking to you about what the attendance problem is, you know, how you interpret that. So we're trying to be real clear and consistent on that.
And I just want to decide to thank Todd first, but then also the social workers that work so well together. Because this was a big, I mean, not a huge job, but it took a lot of time to coordinate, and building that relationship with the county too was key. Because we want to be consistent, so when they come back at us, if we get to the point, unfortunately, where you're reporting an educational neglect or truancy report, that the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and they don't come, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. So we're trying to get on the same page with the county. I think we've done that relationship pretty positive.
So I give big credit to Todd as well as the social workers, did a great job. And I got a little text from Michelle County, who worked with the other elementary social workers, and she said, for information, the final meeting today with the assistant county attorney and the supervisor of child protective services went very well. They were excited about the plan that we have created. We were able to have conversations about our concerns along with theirs. So it's really good meeting, and it's embedded in the handbook now consistently for the 3 buildings.
Okay. Right. Thank you both. I don't mean to cut anyone off. All right, thank you. I believe we need a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move approval of the student handbooks for Jefferson, Lincoln, Roosevelt, and McKinley.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of student handbooks for Jefferson, Lincoln, Roosevelt, and McKinley. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item carries. All right. Item 10B. Consider approval of Resolution 16-21 for the 2016-2017 membership with Minnesota State High School League. Any significant changes from the past?
Nope. Same thing.
When will we have any idea if that's?
Oh, the
passes?
tax piece?
Yeah,
If they go into special session, that's the only way we'll find out.
I mean, I guess if it
right now.
doesn't pass, I'd be interested in a work session or something to see how that's gonna impact our
Yep.
students, but I hope
Yeah.
it passes.
We're keeping our fingers crossed at the call.
All right.
All right.
Make a motion to.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second to approve Resolution 1621. All those in favor say aye. Oh, roll call. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, would you read the roll?
Sure. Tom,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
Yvette,
Aye.
myself, I, Jerry, Andrea.
Aye.
It passes 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Brings us to item 11, items of information. Our student representatives have,
10C, one more.
oh, I'm
Custodial.
sorry.
That's okay.
Yes, that is. What did I,
Summer custodial.
it's not on my list, I'm sorry. I'm not looking electronically. So item 10C, summer custodial help.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Richard, did a motion.
Those in favor of approving this measure as described in our materials, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item carries. Now, item 11. Our student representatives have graduated. And we thank them again for their participation this past year. School board members, do you have anything to share?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to, one of our long-term teachers recently lost her husband after a battle with cancer. Kathy Larson's husband passed, and we'd like to extend our sympathies to the Larson family for the loss of that. She remains part of the 656 family, and anytime somebody suffers, I think we need to extend our sympathies to them. So, sympathies to Kathy and her families.
Certainly do extend our sympathies. Thank you, Mr. Robichaud, for bringing that up. Others, board members? Well, I would like to add just one item. I attended a meeting with some middle school staff last week as they are meeting to look at recreating the original middle school model that was adopted, is still on the board, in our school policies and so on, but over the years have been diminished by budget cuts of various types. So that group of staff and administrators are meeting at least 4 more times yet this summer, and they hope to generate some kind of just information and proposal perhaps for board consideration this come in the next budget cycle. We have spoken many times about how our levy has allowed us to restore many of the areas that were cut during the difficult financial times. But some of the reductions in the middle school, such as the advisor-advisee program that resulted from reductions in staff and so on, have not yet been addressed, and there seems to be concern on the part of the middle school administration and teaching staff to at least take a look at that and bring information forward to the board for its consideration at the appropriate time. And if there's no one else, Mr. Superintendent.
Yeah, we continue to look into the Q comp. That's that alternative pay for peer review and some of the good things that we can do to help improve teaching in the classroom. Although because the legislative session ended up with not a lot of funding for schools, that was not added to the amounts for that. So we could get on the list, but it's still at least a year or two away before we could actually qualify for some of the funding. I attended the MSAD and MSAB graduations up at the academies. They were excellent. I was also at the Bruce Smith Invitational, and it's a great fundraiser for the athletic programs for both the public school and for Faribault BA. I continue to help set up the ad hoc committee. Thanks for all your help. Richard's given me some names, and so has Chad. And I encourage you to give me names that you may know of in the community that would want to serve for a few months consistently. Got a good group of people there. We are also looking into an education foundation through FAPSITA. I'm on that FAPSITA board, and through a lot of discussions, we're potentially looking at a separate organization that could be an actual foundation for our education programs. So that's exciting. So stay tuned to that. That's through FAPSITA. The legislature did finish up. There is not a lot of, there's no money put on the formula. There are a lot of grants out there that you have to apply for, and we've got some very good grant writers in our school system. But the one piece that I will say that is a little bit concerning was that there were a lot of new policies adopted as well. So a lot more work for our staff as a result of unfunded mandates that have seemed to have cropped up again, no matter how much resistance we try to give the legislator.
Who will do all the testing notification? What area does that fall under?
Well, number one, there's additional tests. There's now an additional civics test that will be required for students to take in addition to the MCAs. And students are also mandated to take either SATs or the ACT test. So
we have to publish in a fashion when students are tested.
Yep, all of that information. So there's a lot of red tape. That's just one of them. Physical education standards for the schools will have to be implemented. I think it's the 18-19 school year those are new mandates that are coming down. But there's probably, I counted about 20 of them, new mandates for schools. Some good, some a lot more paperwork that go into the world's best workforce. But we'll work at it and we'll get those things in there. But again, it'll stretch, particularly clean Cardanoodle's time a little bit more to be under compliance with those pieces. So that is just about it. Oh, teacher licensure, there's a lot of changes in teachers' licensures. I'll send you that. I just got it today, kind of a short summary of what those pieces were. But there were some positive changes with the teacher licensure programs. So that's all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Susker. Brings us to item 12, some dates to remember. Monday, July 18th at 7:30 a.m., the finance meeting at the district office. Thursday, July 21st, 3 p.m., facility committee meeting at the district office. Monday, July 25th, 5:30 p.m. is the regular board meeting, and
district office.
Position apparently district office. Yep. And Tuesday, July 26th at 4:30 p.m. the CVSEC meeting at the district office. So I believe, now I've done this once before, us to item 13, our closed session. So I think, do we need a motion to adjourn into closed session?
Just to go into closed session, yep.
Just go into closed session.
Yep, then when we pop out, we'll adjourn the meeting.
All right, so we're not adjourning, we're just moving into closed session.
But you, there you go.
Motion and a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'd like to take perhaps a 2 or 3 minute break, stretch our legs, get a drink of water, and allow our audience to exit.